Hey friends, end of August. Well, technically it's September 1st, but it still counts kind of. But I wanted to take you on a garden tour and show you what I have going on. So we'll start here with our seedlings. And I've got our Chinese cabbage, and then those are collard greens and kales and Swiss chards. And these are the ones that haven't popped up yet. But if you look really close, that one's just starting to pop up. But those are fava beans, which I'm really excited about. And then over here in the soil blocks are some different greens, some arugulas and stuff like that. Panning out this way, we've got one sad little Swiss chard and some beans, more beans throughout back there. And we planted flowers in here, and they're just kind of popping up. The lilies are about to pop, which are really exciting. And then I've got a couple types of kale. In the front here is some white Russian kale, which is being overcome with powdery mildew. And then behind is the dinosaur kale, which is actually doing fine. Here I've got some peas and some Yukon potatoes. That one was an accident. I had set a trap for wireworm because I had turnips here early in the spring, and I put like the tiniest little sliver of a Yukon potato, and I forgot about it. I meant to pull it up and like pull all the wireworms, but I forgot it, and so now it's like a huge plant like running all through there. So I guess I have potatoes now. And then red Russian kale, actually, right there. And then back behind, it's always reversed, so it's hard to point to it. All those white flowers, those are my daikon radishes that I let to go to flower, seed, whatever, so that way I could collect the seeds and grow them in the future. And I'm having ground burrowing problems. I don't know if that's a vole or a mole or whatever. And then here I've got some more beans along this row. And a sunflower in the back. Those of you that know me know that I'm really big on just different diversity and stuff like that in the garden. And these are the cabbages. And so those are pretty much at the end of their life. I've pulled out a lot of them. I made sauerkraut, put them in the CSA, and just been eating them because I love cabbage. Coming over here, there's some broccoli that I haven't gotten transplanted yet, and some pumpkin that I failed to transplant. So, but anyways, here, this row is pretty interesting. I've got a lot of stuff. This first one is rhubarb right here, and then some celery, Swiss chard, and then more Swiss chard and celery and rhubarb as you go down the aisle. And then my little flower thing has filled in right there. And the hummingbirds love to visit there, and the bees and stuff like that. And then, of course, they're edible flowers. I like eating the nasturtium and the borage. And then these are the onion rows. I have taken most of the onion and some weeds. I've taken most of the onions out. But I've still got some. Those are the fresh eating onions, so they don't store for a long time. So I keep them in the ground a little bit longer so I can pick them over a longer period. Here's a dahlia. Look how pretty. This one was from seed. They're not as full when they're from seed because they just are. But I still love them nonetheless. And then I've got some, I think these are green beans. And then here's some carrots right through there. And this is the auroch that's going to seed, as you can tell. And so I'm going to save that. That always just self-seeds. I harvest from it when it's smaller, and then I let it go to seed, and then we see kind of what it looks like. And then you can see my sunflowers sticking up through there. But you know what's funny? The sunflowers, they 100% are not facing towards the house, and they're facing towards my neighbor. My neighbor was over yesterday, and I was telling them that I was upset that I felt that my sunflowers were catering to them and not to me. And so that I was going to plant all of my sunflowers on the west side of my property so that way I could see them as well. So we're walking back. We're passing the ducks. They're behind you. Turkeys. The turkeys are just finishing molting. But we're coming up. Here, I finally got the greenhouse covered. I'll show you that. And like a little wash pack station. So here's the greenhouse. And a little sink and salad spinner. And so this is kind of where I do a lot of prep. And so that was really long in the making. So I'm really excited about that. It's been pretty warm for August. I think we just had our third heat advisory or something like that. And in the Pacific Northwest, we're just not really made for that. So I'll take you over to the sheep garden, the chicken garden. And this one, we're actually getting ready to turn the chickens out into it. It's adjacent to the chicken coop. My chicken coop's over there. They've got 1/8 of an acre for themselves. But I didn't end up ever finishing that half of it. I had big plans, I promise. But my lettuce seed, saving lettuce for seed is going really well. I need to go through and harvest more of that. I've got a bunch of cherry tomatoes in there with the lettuce. And then I'm working on picking all of my, let's see here, where you see the open area here is where I've picked a lot of the purple potatoes. And I'm kind of bummed about this, but this year I was trying to grow the fava beans. No, not fava beans. What are they called? Garbanzo beans or chickpeas. And the rabbit has just been attacking them. I've got so many beans and peas, and rabbit's just relentless. So I'm kind of bummed about that. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get a true test. Also, that area gets the least water in like the watering hierarchy or whatever. So we're over to the sheep garden, which is next to where the sheep were. So all of this wonderfulness is the winter squash. And so I think you can see the delicata. Let's see, where's a good area? Oh, here we go. You see that? A bee just buzzed by. So those are the delicata. And then I've been really loving my dahlias were so late this year. Really late. These ones were tubers that I had purchased. Here I'm struggling with blackberry a little bit, but I've got some beans. These are, drying beans. I think they're cranberry beans and carrots and some lettuce mixed in. Let me go over here. But look at these big, beautiful dahlias. And this one's like about the size of my head. It's really pretty. And then I'll just take you down the row. They're so pretty. Some of them haven't come to flower just yet. There's a random nasturtium patch. Didn't plan that. Got lettuce mixed in over here. Look at these ones. I love orange flowers. I just absolutely love them. And then this one's really beautiful. See, some of these are still coming into flower. Over here, we're getting into these purple ones. Let me go on the other side. I'll get a better picture or video, I guess. But look at these deep purple ones. They're so pretty. And then somebody didn't come up there. But then look. So beautiful. And then over here is the berry patch. And the blackberries coming in. And I didn't quite realize how difficult it would be to tell raspberries from blackberry at a really small stage. But that's all right. I need to keep up on the weeding with that, but it seems to always come as the last thing. Over here, I've got my spaghetti squash. and some ferns, but they're really big. I think I'm gonna have quite a bit of those, a lot of it. And then we'll come over here and look at the popcorn, which is so big. So this is entering the pig garden area. And so way up there are the popcorn, and I'm gonna leave them on the stalks longer than you would leave fresh corn, because I want it to dry. Obviously, if we get some rain, then I'll change my tune. Then up here has been the zucchinis, and they have just gone wild. I cannot believe I did 16 plants, and the pigs have been like on a zucchini diet, literally. So I think next year I'm just gonna do 8 plants, but they've overgrown, and I can't believe every year. Zucchini is interesting for me because every single year I give them more space, and every year the plant is just bigger. And I swear one day I'm gonna have a 20-foot by 20-foot zucchini plant and just like plant one plant, because I just keep going down in numbers every single year. But anyways, I like how you can see those orange dahlias. Where are they at? Right there behind me. I just love dahlias. They're my favorite. And then here are new beds that we're in the process of adding here. And then I've got some seeds started. You can see some cauliflower, I think Brussels sprouts, Swiss chard, kale, a couple different types of kale. This area, for those who remember, I've been wanting to get that tarped. I tarped that in early August. And I'm not sure how long I'm gonna leave it tarped. Ideally, I wanna leave it tarped till spring of next year, so that way I can like guarantee myself not having any problems. But I also have a lot of garlic to plant. So I don't know if I'm gonna try and plant the garlic in there and pull up the tarp, because it might be fine, and garlic is easier to weed around, but I'm not sure yet. So I guess it'll be like a gut feeling or whatever. And then let's see, the half row right there, those are all beets. And then of course these are all carrots. This is open. I need to get something planted in here or seeded in here. I've got some lettuce here. And then these are my overwintered onions that are coming through here, where I've got them thickly planted and then planted in rows. And then my cabbage back through there, and broccoli at the far end. These cabbages are so pretty. But I've been struggling with the thistles. Got a lot of thistle, and they spread by, well, seed as well, but also by the roots or whatever, and they're just such a pain. But that's okay. One day I'll win. All right, and so right now we're in front of the greenhouse, and so the plan is to eventually put several raised beds made out of logs and put herbs in them, but I've only got 2 so far. So so here is basically Thanksgiving. All the sage, which smells amazing, and some rosemary. I've also got a couple rosemaries that are inside the greenhouse, because, hi boys, turkeys, because I don't want to lose them. And then over here, I realized I haven't been watering this well, so it's struggling a little bit, but this is mint, some thyme, and then yarrow, which yarrow's been working really good. I love the antibacterial properties. Like my daughter had a little thing on her toe and it was like infected, and so we made like a tea every day of yarrow and put it on there, and it cleared right up, and we've been having such problems with that, so that was nice. Coming into the greenhouse, here it is, chock full of everything. I did get it finished about a month ago. So over here's done. I've got kale planted, and there's a little rosemary and some Swiss chard. I'm gonna put some spinach over there. I've got the onions in the far back for that trial. The eggplant are putting up absolutely amazing. I cannot believe how productive those plants have been. This is my strawberry and thistle row. And you know, I'm so proud of these thistles. They have just produced the entire time, and the strawberries have produced the entire time. This is one tomatillo plant. that has like spread so far. If you grow tomatillo, I guess depending on how many tomatillos you have, but generally one just does so well, you know. And so I've also got my basil in here. There's some cinnamon basil and some Tulsi basil. And then this row is through here is my peppers. And you can see here, I think those are serranos, some bell peppers, and these little guys, I don't remember what they are. And then my shishitos are just doing amazing. I've been picking at them nonstop, and they've just been really productive. So I recommend that. Over here, so my tomatoes are starting to putter out a little bit. Mostly, I think that I think there's an opportunity on my part. I think I should have spaced them a little bit more. And I didn't get all of them trellised, even though I said I was going to, and then they blocked off access, and then I couldn't get in there to weed or to pick them. And so I've got a little bit of problems. My determinants did amazing. You can see them all. The plants are dying, which that's typical for determinants because they set all their fruit and then die. And so I've been harvesting just tens of pounds of tomatoes from them and making sauce and dehydrating them. This row right here are my cucumbers, and I've got so many of those. And then I've got carrots interplanted. And so, 'cause I love carrots, so that's exciting. And then back through that jungle, I don't know how well you can see, but I've got a bunch of tomatoes in there, and they just kind of go around. Those white seeds are turnips that I had that went to seed, and I just left them for a little diversity. We'll see if we have a little snake visitor. Normally the snakes like to hang out in here. Oh, not today. It's not warm enough yet for them to come out. But yeah, that's the greenhouse. I'll tell you, if I wouldn't have had that greenhouse, my growing situation would be a lot different. And so I'm really thankful to have it. And if you're on the border or whatever of should I buy a greenhouse, should I not? Or even just a little one that you build like a covered, like a little caterpillar tunnel or something, I highly recommend it. But anyways, I want to do a really quick August tour and kind of show you what I got going on. And yeah, thank you for watching. Happy gardening. Bye.